5%ers, saying peace out, took the mathematics into ourselves, memorized it or whatever, so we could nullify any kind of Black Pantherism or whatever, and that or whatever, because they're anti-gang too, because it's basically Black Mafia or whatever. So anything that came down, boom, it's a big Puerto Rican thing. Like, what I'm saying is like inward. If you get deep, deep, deep into Latino things, that's what we did. We wanted to make sure that community never came after us, and how would we do that? By knowing that, what I'm saying. It took the social elements, equal equality and social change, of course, that aspect, but none of that violence or whatever, what I'm saying? So you remove that aspect, any kind of course, they would be anti-gang, they would want anybody usurp their power. Then you had the Nietas, whatever, which is more of, if I had to look at it, a decentralized thing. It's more of like a consensus of like native culture of Puerto Rico and sticking together, trying to hopefully get to the point where you don't have to do anything illegal and you can make a legitimate business, that kind of thing. People will call it gang, but so you have to be, so you got this mentality of not being a gang, but really being a gang, but you got to be incredibly anti-gang because you don't want to ever have to do anything illegal in your life and be arrested, so you're at heart hidden under all this anti-gang, but there are gangs because it's technically whatever, loosely a gang, I guess by definition, by police would call it. You wouldn't call it because it's the group of people, your family, your brothers, whatever, your very close friends and shit. And those are stronger than any gang because you're going to fight for your family. And so it's just like, you sort of deconstruct it at the time. It's just like, you see these things, it's like, how do you prevent people coming after you? Like, you see these girls or whatever that could be like a gang, because they're very beautiful and they get like enough people around them, like 3 or 4 people. And right there, if you get 3 more people willing to fight for you, you're an issue. And so we'd be like, okay, that girl has AIDS, she has this, herpes, whatever. No one touch her. No one go near her, whatever. Boom, cuts out her power. And they got these other people that have really incredible personalities. They will gather people around them. Like, oh, that motherfucking funny. He's this, that, and the other. Just demonize the fuck out of him. You know what I'm talking about? So no one follows him. You know what I'm saying? And then you have people. Saying the quintessential thing. We got to protect these women. Because so that people don't know how to treat them. They're abusive. They're rapists or whatever. I'm talking about. They abuse. Whatever. And so you gotta. Whenever there's something just slightly little bit wrong, or they hit a woman with a boom, you're right there on the spot because the community will support that. Especially, if you're Italian, you'll be really respecting Italian community. Irish, be respected in Irish community. Same thing with Puerto Rican community, defending your woman, especially in ours. Because we're viewed as sexual objects, whatever. So be like, oh man, you can't. So you could sort of force it, or whatever. Be like, oh man. So okay, so you went out with her. Okay, you treated her with respect, but whatever. She just that. You can't have a long-term relationship with her because she's just someone you could use and abuse and throw away. You're gonna go with a white person, so you contort it, whatever. I'm talking about. And that's like the indicators. And when you see that, you could see like that's like quasi, so you could see the evidence of a gang being built or whatever, and you crush it. I'm talking about, you just go after hardcore and just remove anybody with personality, have any kind of skill. They're captain of a football team. They're funny, good looking, or whatever. You make sure they listen to none of them. You know what I'm talking about? Or you incorporate those people into you. You know what I'm talking about? And so when people came down from New York or over from Philly or up or whatever, you see some of it, and you know what I'm talking about? And there'd be outright gangs, and you just have everybody come together. You gotta look at like the different communities. Why would they want any Puerto Rican or black gangs down there when they're Irish or Italian? And to us, they're like, oh, well, like they manipulated us, whatever, but they would usurp who we were, and we needed to make money or whatever. So, of course, we allowed them, what I'm talking about? Meanwhile, we're pulling down Sicilians from fucking, Bronx and Jersey City and fucking Long Island and shit like that to deal with Italians, because they weren't a lot of Sicilians down there, so it was like totally, so everybody's just like, we're playing everybody else, and, we're the smartest, whatever, but it's funny, like, sometimes you gotta play a fool, talking about, and so they're unawares, whatever, and you gotta use their racism against themselves, and, like, okay, well, like, yeah, we're anti-gang, so get rid of these gangs for us. So you have Irish and Italians coming without having our back to deal with these powerful entities that, I'm talking about, that you could probably may say 3 words and get insanely violent, I'm talking about. And now if you had these other people coming to, bolster you up when normally you don't get the fuck along, whatever, I'm saying, that's what it was. It was crazy. So when you see like Boardwalk Empire, it's like, yeah, it was definitely something set in the 90s, but they just throw it back to the 30s, and you see like the different things changing, and you see like the black aspect was really more of, probably you just juxtapose that with the 5%ers or whatever, and the Puerto Ricans, and everything, and you could do the Irish who had real RA ties back in the day. I won't mention any names or whatever. And then other affiliate, I'm not going to get into it. And then, of course, the Italians, they were just huge or whatever, but they had very loose ties. And that's when, Italians, like real Sicilians, needed to come down, because if you keep saying this, that, and the third, and the Italian being some community, who's going to really speak for them? It's going to be the Sicilian aspect of it. And who are they going to speak to when they come down there? They're going to speak to us because we were legitimate. We knew what we were doing. Italians were there trying to get respect and look a certain part or whatever, It didn't really weren't. The Irish were there. They were legit, I'm talking about. They were doing things. That's why I'll leave it at that, But Italians, for the most part, were just a mob of whatever, just disjointed and really not much of nothing, No offense, but Sicilians really had their shit straight. Got really irate all the time, whatever. And so we just like looked the other way, and they literally came up to us, whatever, But hey, I don't give a fuck, fuck them, Give a shit. And with so, but I was in Minnesota. So my Sicilian last name had ties to some family. We're not going to get into that, but not my dad. And they were already dead before I was born anyways. Everybody was involved in like true organized crime on the Italian side. So we incorporate a lot of the true Sicilian stuff into us and how to do that or whatever. But my reason why I'm stating this is that we really were like heavily anti-gang, like hardcore. It was like we took these colors and everything as war trophies. We took these captains and these lieutenants, almost like the most talented people, into who we were to strengthen us, and we got rid of the fat, I'm talking about. It was like the worthless, and what were they gonna do with it? I'm saying, they can't do anything for us, because the thing is, like, you can only deal with a certain amount of people. Imagine having 1,000 people saying they'll fight for you, and they could get at least a certain unsaid number for you, whatever. Can you really speak to 100 people all the time, and knowing when you call people up, how many people really show up for you? And there's a number. And it's not as big as a number you think. You could brag, but I get this, whatever. But time and time again, you see from experience how many people really show up, And all the time you see some people, my mommy said I could make it. Oh, my girlfriend, I couldn't say no to my girl. I didn't get the phone call or whatever. You don't say this is like hear everything, So it's like I show up at the wrong place, So whatever, It's like whatever. Man. It's like, if I'm not even gonna get into it. But you had, so you just, but my point is, you have a certain number of people that you can make a really strong connection with, and you want those people the most talented. You say they're the most talented, but they're really the most loyal people, and you say it up your ass. Oh yeah, this, that, and the other. Yeah, they could most talented motherfuckers on earth. Fucking, they would listen to you. Just, I'm saying, you could trust them to do certain things. But yeah, so, but I give all that up to in the Marine Corps, and so I was just like, maybe think today. So I was to this day I'm like heavily anti-gay. I always was, and it's just like so frustrating. And I think that's why for when the Marine Corps, people want to speak to me, and I was just like, you gotta understand, it's so racist down here in Seaside. I would do anything to change society. You know what I'm talking about, and fight for what's right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not. The end result is make my people have a better life. And to make us have the best chance of having a shot into the next generation, and be treated equally. And talking about that's what I said. And they never asked me to sell anybody out. They asked other people to sell me out. But when they got to speak to me, they realized, that I was like a person like everybody else. I wasn't trying to be violent. People pushed me into a corner, and I couldn't back down. And so my small 140-pound ass took everything I had, all my brilliance, a little bit of it, and right went through it. And then people just rose up, for a very short period of time. And, I'm saying, what do you want from me? I couldn't stop it. I'll be probably more danger if I try to stop it. I'm talking about, what I'm saying? So, but, I wasn't about violence or whatever. It's always, if I stepped into an area, I wanted everything to stop. I wanted no fights, no one to argue. Everybody just to calm, be peace. Because, so I know that's not just someone like bullshitting, like, being okay, just fighting or whatever, and all of a sudden it just comes right for me or whatever. So I didn't want anything like that around me, like when I was walking down the street. And there's a reason for that, I mean, I could say like I wanted to be all peace or whatever, and was that, but that's at the heart of it, really unnerving, man, because you just never know, man. When people run out of the blue right at you, like, I could take them down. I'm like, probably, but you're not going to get that far. You know what I'm saying? It's just like like some, like everybody else, So how do you stop that? And that was one of the things, not have people do anything when you're in the area. You're like, oh, calm down over there. It's all right, what I'm saying? No need to fight, what I'm saying? No need to be angry. We don't, it's very few of us down at the shore, what I'm saying? So I'll get along here, talking about. But now there's a lot more Latinos down shore. It used to be like a few dozen, what I'm saying? Now it's whatever the number is. The 90s were a different time. But yeah, I mean, it's just like, but I was in that. So when people is like, it's sort of like kind of like hurtful, whatever, when you speak to a judge, and they're like, well, it's because you're so calm, and because you're so articulate, and people listen to you because you're, just, I don't know, just very laid back or whatever. That's why you're dangerous. I was like, that doesn't even make sense. Because people listen to me, because I listen to them, is why I have all this fucking anger towards you. I mean, this is only a municipal judge. I mean, the county judge and the federal, and the state judge, they're all cool. It's just that motherfucking municipal judge would always give me shit. But, because the county judge was like my dad, like, he totally understood where I was coming from. And then, he came down on me hard when I first, when I first there, but after a while, I'm saying, he realized, I guess to get to me, he rationalized. He'd push all the bullshit police aside and be like, I want to hear that, I want to speak to him. And I'll tell him, man. I was like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? I got to be real, this is just how it is, like, trying my best, It wasn't all that bad. I know what it was, I just did enough shit to scare a bunch of white people. I met so much more violent people in the Marine Corps that did so much. You need that people to fight a war. Is there side baggage or whatever? There needs to be a place for that. We can't officially state that, but that's the case and the infantry. And it needs to be a place. Forward deployed, keep them active, you know. But like I said, so don't come at me like, oh, we're stopping this, whatever. I've always been like, I've eviscerated shit so it would not come after me, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm just the voice of a consensus. If I'm wrong, then I'm not that voice of the consensus. I have to acknowledge that, you know. But to me, to lie and state there's a Latino community here in Hawaii, there isn't. You know what I'm talking about? And to state that, you know, there's mixed loyalties when it comes to being Latino here in Hawaii, yes. And it's not in our best interest, you know. And so for me to state something that's not true and to be like, look, um, this is how it is, and you be okay, and this is in your best interest, it isn't. You know what I'm talking about? I I have to make the best environment for myself. I want people. We have a certain history and culture, whatever, and we need to support each other. And I have to be honest, you know, we have to bring people in. We have to make connections, whatever. But part of that is being honest with yourselves, you know. And it is what it is. And so, I mean, all I'm saying is again, you know, talking about don't try to bullshit and be a vigilante. I know what you're doing. You know what I'm talking about? Don't be like, well, I gotta protect this. I know what you're doing. You know what I'm talking about? It's just like it's another layer where you could hide behind, where it's gang-like activities. And you know, actually, what I called it was, you know, it's like you gotta see it. You know how it forms. You know what I'm talking about? When people start to correlate whatever, because that's what, you know, the community was going to support. They're going to support the most violent, and they're going to support the people that defend whatever, and try to make people perceive like they're doing it at a very respectable, you know, like honorable shit, being the most violent for honorable shit. Boom, you know that is something that needs to be fucking destroyed as soon as it crops up, and you nip it, and you just zero on it. You take everything you fucking have and head right for it, you know, I'm talking about, before it, you know, goes off thing. And there's another way to deal with it. And now at the end of everything, when I was before I went in the Marine Corps, I saw these same tactics used against me, and it shook me, because I know there was only and they tried to make it look like it was the community, but it was just too precise, too well directed. And then I realized the gig was up, and it was just a matter of time. And I mean, you know, they came forward, you know, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'm good. But you told me, they were like, we know you're this, that, and the other thing, and you could probably get away with whatever. And I was like, we talking about a good, strong motherfucking wind could bring it down. It doesn't matter if I showed up to court with 50 people or a hardcore dozen when I walked in there. You know what I'm saying? If you said you got someone willing to rat me as soon as I go to jail, I believe you. I mean, I already had the inclinations of whatever, of shit not going right, you know, I'm talking about. I wouldn't even be sitting in jail speaking to someone in the federal government. That was the case. So I was just like, I'm good. I'm out. I'll tell everybody to join the Marine Corps, get a better life the way they had. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't give a shit. I mean, you gotta understand, what I was against was racism. You know what I'm talking about? To say, you know, I wasn't, you know, I didn't want people to get arrested and ruin their lives and shit. You know what I mean? How, you know, how if I have so few people, why am I want them away from me in jail? You know what I'm talking about? I want them around me. I don't want them not get arrested. I don't want them to do drugs. I don't want them anything. I don't want them hurt. I want them touched. You know what I'm talking about? I'll do anything for them to not even have like any kind of like anything. You know what I mean? Because I need them. You know what I'm talking about? And we need each other. You know what I mean? It's just like there's too few of us. And we knew that was the strongest thing, more powerful than any gang. And that's why we were very, we destroyed anything that came around us to the shore, and we united. All of us, you know, black, Latino, Irish, Italian, and that was the big four. Anything that came down, you know. But, you know, one of the big things is like, oh, I could burn, no, you can't. And we would fucking destroy you by the time, you know, you picked up your phone. You got their phone booth or whatever, you know, beeped somewhere. More or less by the time they got here, you know what I'm saying? So, just like you would literally have the whole surrounding think everything would just erupt, you know. But I don't know, minor stuff, you know. But it's just something. I don't know. All I'm saying is just like, don't bullshit me. I understand. I know what it is. You know, I'm talking. You want people to support you, like you're the ones, you're the saver, or whatever. You know, I'm talking about. Trust me, that's my shit, and you're doing it deludedly. You know, I'm talking about, and so just back off or whatever. You know, I'm talking about, because if you could make someone look like, I could call up a couple people now, and you know, I'm talking about, be like, look, you go after these people and you have to make yourself look honorable. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you don't know how many people I went after. Like, women come up to me, oh, this, oh, I got raped. Boom, done. Right after that person, you know what I'm saying? Right after that guy, you know what I'm saying? Boom. And then after a while, so many people came up to me, oh, Supreme, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I got raped, whatever. And I'm like, fuck, okay, boom, you know what I'm saying? And people are like, oh, well, he's so honorable. I wasn't honorable, man. I wanted power, you know what I'm talking about? I wanted people to listen to me. You know what I'm saying? It was that destroying that motherfucker. He was nothing but an entity for me to gain respect, you know? For me to look harder than was, you know what I'm saying? Everybody to respect me. And then, granted, you know what I'm saying? Not all the girls that came out to me would be like, oh, I'll sleep with you, but I could guarantee, because not all of them look good, first off, but a good number would. But even more importantly, they would tell other people, tell other girls, and then you get beautiful fucking women. And I wasn't all that attractive. I was just very violent, whatever. And I got a lot of women like that, you know what I'm saying? And that's when you realize people listen to violence, whatever. People listen to when you make it look honorable, even though you're not, you know what I'm talking about? This is all a bullshit perception scam that you're playing on the public or whatever. And so I identified it when I saw it, you know? And then I finally realized it made me cry, and if I think about it right now, I'll cry, you know? Because so many people came up to me, and I was just like, wow, these women just want power. You know what I'm talking about? They want revenge on this guy because they did him dirty or whatever. Maybe they didn't get raped. And then I was just like, I could only handle Latino women because there was just so many or whatever. And, you know what I'm talking about? And especially because if they view our community as only as sex objects and people who are like trophies, oh, I got a Puerto Rican girlfriend or whatever, you know, I got to make sure they're being treated correctly or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And they're all like unified. But it shook me like months later through all that. I was like, these girls weren't lying. You know, they weren't trying to get all revenge. That's the reason why I said they want to get revenge. They want power. You know, so they just want to, you know, saying to manipulate me, going after these people, whatever, you know, I'm talking about, and get all my people all together to go after these women. I mean, these guys, you know, I'm talking about. And I'm just like, what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? I felt like I'm being manipulated. See, I put my life on the line. I don't know, you know what I'm talking about? I don't know if it's real or not, because you just hear so much of it, and the same story over and over again, you know what I'm saying? It's just like they're telling each people the same damn thing to fucking get me motivated to go after these fucking guys. Whatever, because they're fucking rapists and shit like that, right? And they're hitting women, whatever, and the dad's doing that. You show up at the dad, you beat the living fuck out of them, you run up in the house or whatever, you know what I'm talking about, and you fucking end, you make them fucking terrified that as soon as your name is fucking mentioned, they'll never touch that girl again. And that's what you keep doing, just keep fucking doing it, you know what I'm saying? So just like the even slightest mention that even know me, they just start back the fuck off the woman, whatever, right? So you create that, you know, so you create not just a perception that you fucking do it, you know what I'm saying? Because the shit made me sick, you know what I'm talking about? You know, it's like, what the fuck? You do that to your own fucking daughter. That, you know what I'm saying? You put your hands on her or whatever, and your dad's a guy, you know, especially my people, right? That's how you do that. Because it's the right thing to do. And you're naive, and you think everybody's doing it. And then you were motivated by that, but after a while, it's just like you saw the power getting to corrupt you, you know? Power corrupts you, you know what I'm talking about? And you don't do it for altruism after a while. And then it sinks in. Like, there was so much fucking shit going on towards women. It wasn't like, I realized it back then, you know, it was just like, what are people doing behind closed doors, you know what I'm talking about? Because they weren't lying. I could almost guarantee you 80, 90% weren't. And I'm just like, fuck, man. And the thing about it is, there you give always given the benefit of that, you know, I'm talking about benefit of the doubt or whatever, you know what I'm saying, towards anything, you know what I'm saying. They didn't even care if you were like the worst fucking monster. You're the king of the monsters, you know. And that's why, you know, you get more women, whatever. And then I just realized, you know, we're fucked up people, man, and we do some fucked up shit. So how you gonna call me a monster when I know exactly what the fuck you all do? You know what I'm talking about? When no one's looking and you think no one's looking. So that's why I could never feel bad about myself, no matter what I was accused of. What people came down on me was, I knew what women, white women, came up to me constantly asking me to do, you know what I'm talking about. So I can't feel bad. So when years later, when I'm here, I see the same shit, you know what I'm talking about. We accuse this of other cultures. We accuse these of other people, other ethnicities, other entities that are against us, you know. It's just and that's a problem, you know what I'm talking about, and it's definitely a problem. So if you are Latino and you see this, I'm asking you, you know, to end it, you know what I'm talking about, because it's illegal, it's immoral, it goes against, you know, me as a person, my humanity, dehumanizes me or whatever. And I could verify what I did quickly, you know what I'm talking about. So, and remember, that's the very, very beginnings of people. It's like the wannabe things that could. You don't know. Like, people be like, oh man, they're all wanting. You don't know. I'll be like, when people just like those wannabes, whatever, I'll take them. I'll take the most violent. I'll take the most talented. I can make them real. You know what I'm talking about? And so you handle it. You know what I'm saying? We want to diminish that or whatever, but in reality, people are people. You know what I'm talking about? It's like the more you fuck with them, the harder you're going to make them. So how you deal with it without making them hard? And there's a way. You know what I'm talking about? And I won't state that, but I saw the same tactics used at me, and I knew there was other people that were in play. And that's why I exited Jersey and the shore quickly. And you only saw me for about 48 hours and I was gone. You know, and that was that all those years ago. Yeah. So, yeah. And why would I want anything around if it would come after me anyways years later? I would destroy it. You know, I'd be like, look, don't listen to me. Have a better life. Do it any way you can. Join the military. Do this, do that. I don't give a fuck. I'm out here, you know what I'm talking about. So, you know, and you say a few more things, and so, and you realize after you left there's other things that carried on what you were said, and you know, some entity within the federal government, and I don't know what it is. I don't want to know. But it's 25 years ago. You know, I gave all that. As soon as I raised my hand, I gave all that nonsense up, and I never wanted to go back to it. You know, any of that. You know, and then called back up to Jersey, and then you speak to some of these people, and you know they were talking to certain people, and they will never come clean. They'll never be honest with me or whatever, and I just can't deal with that because I know who I talk to. I know who I talked to in the Marine Corps. I had to talk to Marine Corps intelligence about it. I had to talk to while I was in jail about it, you know what I'm talking about. And I talked to the DO. I had to talk to a whole bunch of people, you know what I'm talking about. And to tell me none of y'all talk to anybody, y'all full of shit, you know what I'm talking about. Especially, you know what I'm saying, it's just like, but the thing is, they probably maybe their things, well, they're the only ones that were talked to. I bet they talked to all of us and played all of us against each other, you know what I'm talking about. They hated. Yeah, but for real, you know what I heard? I'll tell you honestly. I'll tell you dead fucking right. They want to bomb the fuck out of Seaside off the fucking map. It's the fucking shithole of the nation. The worst, decrepit pieces of crap. Italians, Irish. They hated us. Puerto Ricans, black, or down there. They didn't like anything that was going there. They thought it was just like fucking the most immoral fucking place in the nation or whatever. They just wanted it gone. Yes, they don't like it. know what I'm saying? So tell me like, oh, well, they supported. No, they didn't support you. They hated you. You know what I'm talking about? I'm just saying. Well, I'm just saying they hated you, but they wanted to destroy anything that was down there. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I'm saying. Literally, not to relate to me in the Marine Corps. They didn't like any part of that map. They said, yeah, we know racist shit happened to you. That part of the country should just not even exist. You know. So that's the reality. That's what I was told. And that was intelligence telling me that. So I can state that now. I don't want to go into details or whatever. There's not really much actually, and I probably forget half of them anyways. But yeah, so don't think you're all hardcore because you spoke to the federal government 25 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I'm just honest about it. And they like me better because I was a leader. You aren't. Ha ha ha. Fuck y'all. All right. Well, I'm gonna get my game in. I'll come back.